Hey guys, Mitch here with the TheAudioDabbler YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Sensel Morph and a couple overlays and kind of give you my thoughts on how I like this product, and so stick around. Alright, let's get the tech stuff out of the way. And so the Sensel Morph is essentially a kind of modular, I guess, customizable MPE MIDI controller, because it comes with different overlays and you can buy other overlays, but essentially you've got a base here and it's Bluetooth and also USB. It has a little micro USB port here. It's got an on and off switch. So one of my first cons, I don't like to be negative about things, but one of my first cons is when you plug this in to charge it, I don't get any kind of indication that it is charging. And so, I mean, you can charge it USB, and as long as it's on, you see a light, and with the software, I'll get to that in a minute, you can see what the battery percentage is. But when I just plug it up just to charge it in just like a USB, regular little USB brick or whatever, I get no indication that it's charging. And so that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of a con. But I don't like to be too negative on products if, you know, without having positive, but I want to start with, you know, negative things. But anyway, so the three overlays that I have is the keyboard, the music production right there, and then the video editing is what it's called. I'll get to this in a different video, but I will say it works really well. As far as the music production goes, there's 16 pads, you got 8 encoders, you got a little chiclet keyboard down here that surprisingly is fun to use. I didn't really know if I would like it, but I do like, you know, adding little melodies or little bass lines or something like that inside of that. It's pretty cool. As with both, you have a string of buttons across the top here that can be completely customizable, but they are kind of labeled with transport controls and things like that. So that's kind of cool. All of these are MPE and can be set to take into account pressure and location and all that cool stuff. So that's really cool. The keyboard has a cool little extra key down here at the bottom. So you got 24 keys, but then you have another little extra C down here that's kind of cool. Same thing. It'll track your fingers up here, and I get to that into the software, but it'll allow you to track your fingers up and down and across for pitch bends and things like that. And you can set all that up customizably with the software. And then as far as the video editing, it's designed, and all these labels are designed for Premiere Pro, but I will say it works with Final Cut or any other software, LumaFusion on the iPad, that can take in keyboard shortcuts. You can program all of these little buttons and wheels and everything else to be a particular thing. Like if you need this to be letter K or whatever, you can do all of that inside the software. And so I guess let's take a look at the software so we can really see how customizable you can do this thing. Alright, so here's the app. You can get it on PC, Mac, and I think some Linux. Can't get it on Android and or iOS, so you can't edit it. So if you're only iOS, then this may not be the best setup for you, since you will not be able to edit the overlays unless you have access to a computer that has the software. So this right here is just a fresh install. I've deleted everything so you can kind of see. I don't have it physically connected up, but if you had it physically connected up, when you clicked on this tab right here, it would show you the battery percentage and also some other information, the serial number and all that stuff. And so in order to add an overlay, you just add an overlay. Now the overlays that I have are the music production, piano, and video editing, but I don't have to have one of those overlays to see what all you can configure with it. So if I wanted to add that overlay, I could add that overlay. I could send it to the Morph as well, but unless I actually had that particular, like this one, the Buchla Thunder, I could not actually utilize this. But this brings me up to a nice point here, is being able to use the different sets that this one particular overlay has is very brilliant, and I wish and hope that they are able to do something similar to this and kind of retrofit it back to the MPE, not the MPE, for the music production, the keyboard, and others, be able to load different sets within one particular overlay. Because that is a con, is I can only have one preset per overlay per Sensel. And so like if I go here and I click on piano MPE and then I upload this, then that's the only piano it's going to have. But if I go through here and I add another MPE one and say I change these all to, so you can hold control, select a bunch, and change different parameters, and then save this as a different set, but I can only upload one of these sets per Sensel, and so I can't have multiple presets, and so that's kind of a bummer. But as far as settings, anything can be anything, and so I could actually change this right here. So how the software works is you've got this overlay, and then you can edit it, and you can actually right click or click on over here, and you can rename it, you can duplicate it, and all of that stuff. But let's see, rename it tutorial. Let's see. So yeah, import and export a map if you've get it from somebody else. Say somebody else has created an overlay that you want to use for a particular thing. You know, you can share them that way. But like all of these buttons up top, so you click on one, and then this is a Midi Morph modifier, which gives you the option to do down octave, up octave, scenes, chords, program, sustain, velocity, and pitch bend disabled, which that's nice, being able to disable the pitch bend, which right here, being able to disable that is nice when you're playing something like a piano and then you switch over to like a violin, being able to enable the pitch so you can get those pitches, but you don't necessarily want to pitch bend a regular grand piano. You do have the sustain button down here at the bottom, which I did find that a little hard to do, but you can see down here it is a Midi Morph modifier and a sustain. But if I didn't want this to be a Midi Morph modifier, say I wanted this to be an MMC button, I could do that. You know, here's all the MMC buttons you could do. Or if you wanted it to be a note, you could do a note. A particular channel, particular note, whether you want after pressure and the threshold. You could have it to do a CC button. It'd probably be pretty hard to have that to be a slider, since it's, you know, kind of small. But and an XY pad may not be the best suited for it, but you could set it up to do that. With these, with the notes here, with the keys, if you wanted to set them up to be a slider, a vertical slider, you could, and you could set these up to be faders for a mix, and you could have that on there. That's where this right here could come in real handy, being able to set different presets. You know, maybe just be able to hold the reset button down, or this top button down, or maybe this button, or set the sustain to hold down and be able to pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 across the black keys to change the settings. That would be good. That would be great, because then you could, I don't know, set one to have regular piano, but maybe if you wanted to have one to use as a mixer, you could actually use this keyboard as, you know, a more tactile mixer to mix things or control effects and things like that. That would be kind of cool, I think. But yeah, and you could actually have it touchpad area if you wanted it to use it as a mouse, because you can use it with no overlay and use it like a giant trackpad with your Mac. Haven't really tested it with my iPad. I have a pencil and the touchscreen, so I didn't really feel like it would necessarily do me any good to test that. As far as the music production, you have regular Midi and MPE as well, and that's just basically, these are set for XYZ MPE settings to do pitch bend, a Midi CC, as opposed to the regular Midi. It's just a Midi note button with channel aftertouch. But you can do just regular Midi XY. You just don't get the MPE standards that you would with the regular Midi. But yeah, anything, you can set anything to anything. And so if you wanted to do like the video editing, Premiere for Windows, but say I didn't want it for Windows, I have to click on it, have it for Mac. But I could maybe change this. Let's rename this because I don't have, change it to Logic Pro. Not Logic Pro, what am I doing? Final Cut Pro. There we go. Final Cut Pro. And now I could go in here and start editing these, and you can see that these are keyboard buttons or keyboard slider knob. Knob modifier, you know, you can, like, all kinds of crazy stuff that you could do in this software, and it's really great. I really do wish that you could change and have more than one preset, like the Bakla Thunder, the load preset button, which is a settings button that is load here, but, and I can say this right here, I can set this to a settings button, but I don't get that option there. But I mean, you can do like this right here, keyboard slider, it's a mouse scroll, it's a horizontal slider, mouse scroll, left and right, and so you can use that to slide across like you would be using a mouse wheel. So that's cool. So I mean, I think there's a lot of great things that to be said about the software, and like literally anything could be anything, clockwise, counterclockwise, right and left. I mean, you can use that as a jog wheel. So yeah, and then to send, if you had the Morph attached, that there would be a send to Morph option right there in the top, and that's how you would send it, and it would upload it, and you get little lights, and that's it. So that's the software, and that's all you can do with the software. But if you want something like the grand piano, and you don't want it to be pitch bendy and stuff, well, there's, as long as you have it, if this is the default settings, then you have this little button right here that's got the little weird arrow. We'll turn that pitch bend off so that you can easily play something without pitch bend, and then you can turn it right back on. So that's kind of a nice addition as well. Alright, so that's basically the Sensel Morph in a nutshell. I mean, I know it's maybe a little bit of longer, long-winded video, but I just wanted to kind of go over, you know, everything that that I could think of that would be useful information if I was looking at this product, looking to buy this product. What all can it do? You know, give me some sound demos of like playability. These rubber pads, they're rubber, but they give you a little bit better tactile feel than the screen. Not as much as like a regular keyboard would be, as far as the knobs aren't knobs, but can play to your advantage. You just gotta, you know, just take the time to kind of learn it. But it would definitely be a good investment, especially if you're just getting into music production and you don't really know what all you need and stuff like that. These are here. You know, they seem like they're going to last a long time. It's versatile. You don't have to deal with cables. It's Bluetooth. So you can just literally take it anywhere. It fits really well. This is my little case that I have for my iPad Pro. My iPad Pro has a big protective case on it already. And it has this inside. And so all of that fits with the base and a couple overlays. And so that's literally everything would fit in this right here. And you can just take this anywhere, not have to set up wires or anything. So that's nice. I've always been skeptical of Bluetooth since it came out, because when it first came out it wasn't very good. But they have definitely improved the quality and the reliability of Bluetooth. And I definitely use it. I would use it in a live situation because I feel like it's that stable. Let's see what else. Yeah, I really can't think of anything. So this right here is not mine. It is Sensel's. They sent out to me as a loaner so that I could take a look at it and see what I thought and do some videos on it. And I reached out to them, and these are the overlays that they did send. I will do another video on the video editing because I feel like it's really, really good, especially if you use Final Cut Pro. Some of the shortcuts, you can easily map all of that stuff to this. So that is coming in the future. But yeah, I would overall, for the price and everything that you can get, especially if you got several more overlays, this could just be a one and done kind of simple MIDI solution to take places. It's very expressive and completely customizable and everything. So I would, other than the couple little cons that I mentioned about not showing up whenever it's charging and not being able to switch presets, but I feel like the preset thing is just a software issue. And then as far as not having an iOS editor, you know, maybe in the future they will do that as more and more people go to using iPads and iPhones in a more production environment. They will tend to, you know, they may be able to develop an app that will allow you to change the presets, and that will be amazing as well. So thanks for watching. All links are in the description. I will leave a link to the Sensel website to where you can purchase this. I'll also leave a link to Amazon. I have a Patreon and a PayPal, direct PayPal me link if you're into supporting content creators that way. If not, then just share this video on your favorite social media below. And if you have any questions, I have this for another probably a couple weeks, and so if you watch this within a couple weeks of today, which is November 1st, then leave a comment and I'll see if I can test it out and answer it before I have to send this package back to them. Alright, thanks guys.